Hey guys, welcome to today's episode of The Corner Store. It's your boy Gerald Cadet. And guys, man, I have a wonderful, fantastic episode for you guys. I'm going to talk about the NBA's back. NBA Restart came back on Thursday. I purposely did not put out an episode on Friday to do basically a recap of the weekend. So basically it was a 5-day weekend of NBA fantasticness. That's not even a word. But before I start with that, I need to start with something that's been going on, and I haven't been able to run from it or like walk away from it or try and like deter or any adjective you have for it. I haven't been able to I don't want to say hide away, but escape the reality of life. When making up this podcast, this brand, all that stuff, my big thing was to teach people that sports and life are parallel with each other. One of the big things with sports that I love about sports is the expression of free speech and whatnot. That's why a lot of times I have a problem with the NFL not allowing players to express themselves freely for what, like a good 4 years, celebrations were banned out of the NFL and things like that. But now we are at a time where a lot of our rights are being violated. And I'm just gonna take the time out before I get into the good stuff. Let's handle some business right now. So I'm just gonna talk for X amount of minutes. If you guys aren't into that, just skip to like a 22, 23 minute mark on YouTube or even SoundCloud, however you guys are listening or watching this. So I'm gonna start off with this. This is a quote. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peacefully and to petition the government for a redress of grievance. That's the First Amendment. That is our right to freedom of speech. Literally, this amendment, the First Amendment, the first thing, well, now I want to say the first thing written, but the first law put in the Bill of Rights is to protect our freedom of speech. Our ability to say what we want, how we want it, and the government can't come after us as long as it is in a peaceful manner. Back in 1776, one of the biggest things that was going on was Protestants. The reason why people came to America was because Protestants were trying to leave the United Kingdom to basically practice their own religion, not stay with the Catholic way of, I guess, society at the time. It's 2020. It's not about religion no more. It's about just being able to talk for yourself, speak what's on your mind, just as long as it is not in a harmful manner. However, we have changed that narrative where if you're not with us, you are against us. This past Friday, I believe, Jonathan Isaac, member of the Orlando Magic, he was asked a valid question. I might as well add by one of the reporters. You don't have Black Lives Matter on the back of your jersey. You stood up for the national anthem. Do you believe Black Lives Matter? If he said no, as a black man, he has to do some soul searching. But in his not even American rights, his human rights, he is obligated. He's not obligated. He has the right to say no. I don't believe in Black Lives Matter. I don't believe that Black Lives Matter. But if he said something like that, uproar. But I know for a fact Jonathan Isaac believes Black Lives Matter, especially as a black man himself. I know he believes Black Lives Matter. However, he thinks there's a different way you could do it. You could spread the message that Black Lives Matter, not by putting that on the back of a jersey. In retrospect, you're disrespecting your name, becoming a statistic. I love what LeBron James said. LeBron James said that he's not going to pick out some random words that the NBA made up or whatever. He plays for the back of his jersey. The back of his jersey is him. That back of his jersey, when you see James, is a black man playing basketball. A black man trying to fix the world from prejudice, oppression, and systematic racism. Forget the police brutality. To some whites. Right? It's not all whites. That's another thing that's pissing me off. It's not all whites. Some whites. I always say it's the older white people, the older white population. Those guys do not give us the respect that we deserve. But then, their upbringing. It's all about upbringing, right? When the older white people were about 5, 6, 7 years old, it was the normal where things were segregated. Black people basically were oppressed in their face. However, my problem is going back to Jonathan Isaac and his statement. He said that he doesn't see that the back of it, having a Black Lives Matter term or kneeling for the flag, that's not his, in his eyes, that's not going to affect any type of change. That's not going to bring about any type of change. Okay? That's all right. That's his opinion. Why did we make a big deal about it, guys? Why did we make a big deal about it? It's his opinion. The First Amendment gives him that right. Speaking about that, cancel culture. You can say whatever you want to say as long as it is not harmful. As long as it's not harmful, it is not causing harm to others. So a big Supreme Court case back in, I believe, 1989, was it Texas versus Johnson? I could be wrong. Do not quote me on that, but I think it's Texas versus Johnson. The reason why the man who burned the flag on, I guess, as a park, lost that case was because there was a chance that he could cause harm to other people. Like, he could cause harm to other people. But as long as you're not causing harm to other people, as long as you're not making harmful remarks towards other people, you have it in your right, your human right. Forget American right. You have in your human right. You can speak your opinion. But now we have cancel culture. We have things called fact checkers. Where just like one spokesperson says, hey, this thing's not true. Oh, that's the end of it. That's the end of the story. Really? And then, mind you, the cancel culture vultures come in and be like, oh, look at this guy. He said this and that wrong. He got to go. We don't like him. We don't like what he said. He has to go. Nah, that's not, I'm not trying to raise my kids in that type of environment. I understand people don't know how to, and it's evident. It's evident, especially in today's society, with the advancement of technology and rise of social media. People don't know how to not agree, but agree. Not agree, but respect but respect a point. One big example of that, it was happening in a couple of years. I feel like now it's slowed down. Is the LGBTQ community. We didn't know how to react. Like a lot of people, I can say myself, I was like, okay, me personally, I know I'm not gay or whatever. I don't like the same sex. However, I respect those people. I could say that. But some other people, because of their upbringing, because of their belief system, they can't fathom that idea. So because they can't fathom that idea, they have to disagree with that idea and say, "Oh, this is trash. This sucks." It's the same thing when it comes to the kneeling of the flag, and I'm going to get to that in a second. But I'm going to go back to the First Amendment. We have free speech. So we have conspiracy theories. There's been a lot of conspiracy theories, a lot of conspiracy theories that have come out during this ordeal. And a lot of conspiracy theories are getting canceled by fact checkers saying that it's not real. When the conspiracy theorist has a bunch of evidence, a dead clock is right twice a day, not 90-something times a day, not 90-something times a second, just twice a day. So maybe two times a coincidence, aye, but 90-something times, if y'all know, y'all know. So you have spokespersons of big companies just say the accusations are false. There was a typo or something. And then us as Americans, as citizens, as human beings are just gonna allow that to happen. There's a bigger cause. There's something greater than that. I'm gonna leave it at that. But Jonathan Isaac, I love what you did, man. I love what you did. You express your freedom of speech. And that is what we need to do in this country. We need to come together, respect other people's opinions, and just listen to what they have to say. You don't have to agree. You don't have to agree. Why would you agree? If you agree with everything someone says, you are a slave. You could have pushback. You could be like, hey, I understand where you're coming from. I see your point. Sometimes you could be like, I don't see your point. That's why conversations, not even debates, that's how great conversations arise. So Jonathan Isaac, I appreciate you for not succumbing to the what's cool, what's easy, and doing something that is hard. That's the reason why we're basically applauding Colin Kaepernick now. The reason why the whole he lost his job for what he believed in because he used his free speech. That's why now, for some reason, now we understand the totality of what he was talking about, even though what he was talking about was not only police brutality, and we're trying to make some goddamn narrative that is just police brutality that's hindering the black community. Yes, I know we started bringing up education reform. We started bringing up all that stuff. But on the forefront of people's minds that don't understand what black people are going through is just, oh, okay, let's just defund the police and, oh, black people are going to be hip, hip, hurrah. No, it's deeper than that. It's deeper than oppression. It's deep. I could go on for hours and hours about how deep it is, but it's just deep. Now, to go back to what I was talking about, free speech and all that stuff, another athlete came out, Michael Porter Jr. He said that he sees that it's something else. There's something else going on. There's a bigger picture. We're being distracted. My man, my guys. You guys want to talk about Jeffrey Epstein? Let's go there for a couple of seconds. His right-hand man is in jail. His right-hand man is in that Brooklyn detention center. And there's not really that much news on her. I just seen one article about 3 weeks ago. I didn't even open it, that they're trying to put him and Trump together when we've like, you could look at it that, and then Trump says it himself that he didn't really mess with the man like that. But there's no news. You just see like maybe 2-minute news. You just worry about coronavirus, and that's it. What about the whole? I'm not even gonna say the corporation's name, but the company's name. But what about that scandal? What about that scandal? Oh, because the spokesperson said there was a mistake or something like that. Oh, it's over. That's it. We're not gonna talk about that no more. Come on, guys. We gotta open our mind. I understand some things are hard to visualize or understand because you are so deep and so invested into what you personally believe in. However, it is important for us, especially at this time, this day and age, to open our minds, to understand every avenue. Don't say, okay, this thing is trash. Why would I listen to that? Listen to it. Maybe you could find some type of, oh, I remember hearing about this. Let me look into this even more. That's all you guys got to do. Don't be like, oh, okay, I've been like, I've on that, I've heard about that. This person says that, so I never F with him. I never F with him, so I ain't gonna listen to it. No. The most wise people in this world and in this history have always said, always listen to your enemies. Always try to find some common ground when it comes to your enemies. I don't think any. I believe leaders said that, but I'm saying that to you guys now. Always find some common ground with your enemies. There's always a common ground between a white supremacist and a black panther. They both believe in the same thing, but different ways they believe it in. White supremacists believe that they always believe both parties believe that their group needs to come together. Their race needs to come together and exact unity. I mean, they both go to the extreme. Like white supremacists want to kill everybody. Black Panthers wanted to. Well, I'll say this: Black Panthers were described as wanting to kill all the white people and then just building up America for themselves, which is not totally the case. But there's, as you guys can see, the ideas are the same. It's just that they're so far left that they can't come together and exact the idea. Now I'm going to talk about I'm going to talk a little bit about Colin Kaepernick. I'm going to talk about this kneeling. Goes back to the First Amendment. The First Amendment, he has the right to do that. What's standing? What does standing mean? Standing for the American flag. Because I believe I've thought about this. I've really thought about this. Kneeling is probably the most respectful thing you could do for the flag. Standing, right? Has a lot of meaning. One of the meanings, the root word stand, is to make or be firm. So you're standing for the American flag. You're making it known that America is your country. However, kneeling, the number one thing we get to kneeling is respecting the people who have fallen. You kneel to respect, to show grace, also to show a obedience. But that's different. That's for another day. But and the same thing, standing too is both showing obedience. But that's for another day. However, you kneel for your fallen ones. All the soldiers who risked their lives for us, we kneel for them. We stand for the ones who are keeping our country safe. We kneel for the ones that try to keep our country safe, and most of them were successful at it. So next time you start talking about, oh, I'm always gonna stand for the flag, Think about that. You can kneel for the flag as well. You could be like, there's many people who have fought that I need to show the respect for, and kneeling is most likely one of the best forms of respect to do. Standing is the same thing as well, but kneeling for the flag, there's no wrong in that. You could have some like people looking at it like kneeling on the flag is freaking, the contrary is pissing on the flag. No, that's one of the most, kneeling on the flag is one of the most respectful things you could do. So also kneeling deals with being vulnerable. Cat 3 years ago, kneeling, maybe he didn't come up with this conclusion, but I came up with this conclusion. Kneeling to him was, he's showing that the USA is vulnerable. They have an internal struggle that's making them vulnerable. Standing shows that you're not vulnerable. You're ready to fight. That's what I got from Jonathan Isaac. He's ready to fight. He's ready to take on this Black Lives Matter thing. Now, guys, the only thing I want to say, I want to say this. I'm just gonna finish this off like this, and then after that, we're gonna get to the episode. However you guys feel, it's you guys. It's your way of thinking, is whatever. But to start canceling people, to start saying people's opinions are wrong because this person says so, and not putting in the research for that, that's disingenuous. That is not respecting the number one rule we have that keeps us different from every other nation in the world. There are so many people outside of the United States who love the First Amendment because back home, they don't have the freedom of speech. We are taking this freedom of speech thing for granted. And hopefully I'm gone by this time. But the day that right gets X'd out, we're going to be wishing that we allow people to talk. One more thing. November is coming. I see a lot of people are saying that, oh, anyone but Trump. Don't waste your votes on people that you know is not going to win. So what does that mean? You guys going to vote Biden? You guys really think Joe Biden is the answer? I'm not a Trump supporter. However, Trump is the best guy for America at this moment. A lot of us citizens, we want someone to make us feel good. We want someone to basically, take us by just take us by the seat thing, the baby carriage, whatever, pick us up and then just coddle us and tap us on the back to make us burp. That's literally what it is. Trump, though, is blunt. He tells it like it is. Even though that gets him in trouble, and that I even look at him sideways. He tried to condemn Colin Kaepernick's kneeling, but tries to commend the Confederate flag, which I believe is the most racist thing ever. But hey, with Trump, I know what I'm getting. I know he's telling me what he's gonna do. Biden, I don't know. I don't know who's gonna really be in charge. Guys, our First Amendment right is the most important thing we have as citizens of this country. If you guys just want to let that be and freaking cancel everybody who's in disagreement, who's in disagreement of you, that doesn't see what you see, by all means, that's your prerogative. But that America you're trying to bring us to, I'm not trying to be part of that. You could You could disagree. However, respect the person that has the balls to say it like it is. Respect the person that has the balls during times like this, says I'm with Trump, says that I'm a fucking racist. Excuse my language. But guys, respect that person, because that person is someone. Me, I rather be at a bar with a Klans member than someone who's blindly following the Black Lives Matter movement. Because with the Klans member, I know what he's about. That Black Lives Movement person, I don't know what he's about. I don't know. So I'm gonna leave you guys with this. Would you guys rather get shot in the head seeing the bullet, or not seeing the bullet? I'd rather see the bullet come at me. And with that, we'll be right back. We're gonna start with some basketball. I said 22 minutes, so it's about 26 minutes, but it's all right. You know, you guys get the gist. We'll be right back. And we're back. Yeah, so that's how I be feeling. But hey, that's over with. I feel much better now. Like I said, when making this show, I didn't want to just put it on sports. I want to talk about everything and anything. And I have to tell you guys, like, I'm trying to be very, I guess, transparent is the word. But thank you guys for listening. And hey, it's time for what you guys really wanted to talk about. The NBA was back. It came back this past Thursday with two tremendous games out the gate. The Pelicans losing to the Utah Jazz, and basically a come from behind victory for the Jazz, 106-104. And then the nightcap, LeBron James game winner against the Los Angeles Clippers, 103-101. Now, what did I learn? And then other tremendous games throughout the weekend. The Mavs, the Rockets, the Trailblazers, the Memphis Grizzlies. You had, what was last night? Toronto, the Lakers again. A game that just recently passed. The Rockets and the Milwaukee Bucks. Amazing slate of games. The NBA has not disappointed. We had the NBA starting on Thursday, about 4 or 5 days of basketball, and only about 5 games were blowouts. That's more than I think on a night during the, like, when things were normal, during like a night was freaking, you have 16 games or 15 games actually, about 10 of those 15 games are blowouts. So I'm happy about that. So, but first, let's talk about what you guys are waiting to talk. You guys are waiting to hear me talk about: the Lakers and the Clippers. The Lakers defeated the Clippers on Thursday, score of 103-101. LeBron James had 16 points, I believe about 10 assists, about 7 rebounds or so. AD was the high man for the Lakers with 34 points. And, of course, the rest of the LA Lakers had 53 points, 103-101. Kyle Kuzma was the next highest scoring man with 16 points. But what did the Clippers-Lakers game mean to me? What did I see from the Clippers-Lakers game? I saw what I've been seeing throughout the past season. The Lakers cannot beat the Clippers. I have the Clippers in 6 still. And I'm being generous because I have tremendous respect for LeBron James. I don't think LeBron James is going to get swept in the conference finals, which is very likely to happen. First, a tremendous game from the whole Lakers team. It was a team effort to only win by 2 points. The Clippers gave up a 14-point lead in the third quarter. Lou Williams and Montrezl Harrell, 2 players who are fighting for 6th Man of the Year on the same team, was out. Patrick Beverley was on minutes restriction because he just returned to the bubble. I'm telling you guys, that putback that LeBron James had, if Patrick Beverley was on the court, not Reggie Jackson, Patrick Beverley fights for that rebound and maybe gets fouled. And then to top it all off, Kawhi Leonard's numbers say he had 28 points, shot 43% from the field. He was 3 out of 4 on 3-point shots. The number said he played great, awesome. But what I saw was probably Kawhi Leonard's worst game in about 2 years. That's what I saw personally. I saw Kawhi Leonard have his worst game in 2 years. Quiet 28 points. Paul George had allowed 30. He at one point he hit about 3 straight threes. He had allowed 30. If Kawhi gives him a little bit more space at the end, he has a chance to put up a great shot to probably win the game. So for a Clippers fan, if I was a Clippers fan, I'm not worried about what I saw on Thursday. I'm actually happy with what I saw. 103, 101. And then Lou, Trez, 18 points a game. Those guys weren't playing. We had someone, Reggie Jackson, Marcus Morris playing. I'm good. I feel awesome. I feel awesome. As a Lakers fan, I'm a little scared. I'm a little, let me not talk to my Clippers friend over there because they're scary. And it's right to be so. Now, okay, the Clippers game, the Lakers game is a rivalry game. If you put it in football terms, it's always a dogfight. Okay, I understand that. But then the Lakers played on Saturday. Clippers played on Saturday too. The Clippers blew out the Pelicans, which I'm going to talk about in a second. But the Lakers lost to the defending champions, the Toronto Raptors, 107-92. It's respectable to lose to the defending champions. There's no shame in that. The Toronto Raptors last year were not only Kawhi Leonard. It wasn't a Kawhi Leonard carried team. We all could agree on that. However, this was alarming to me. After 3 quarters, Anthony Davis and LeBron James had a combined 22 points. Yet, the Lakers were only down by 2 points. 72-70. Or I believe it was 82-80. 82-80. So, you can't blame the bench. The bench is actually keeping them in the game. Keeping LeBron and AD in the game. That's alarming. That's alarming. And then once again, high man from, I guess you would say, the others is Kyle Kuzma, 16 points. Actually playing defense, guarding. I mean, he got torched from Kyle Lowry, but hey, he was putting in the effort. But you guys lost. The others did their job. I understand you guys are going to say, oh, these guys were missing key shots or whatever. But at the end of the third quarter, so the start of the fourth quarter, the score was 82-80. LeBron and AD were combined for 22 points. So if you have 80 points and 22 points, so someone had to score another, well, am I doing the math right? 68 points? Right? So someone had to score another 68 points. That's alarming. Let's see what happens tonight. I'm recording this Monday morning. It's about 1:00 in the morning. Let's see what happens later tonight when they play the Utah Jazz, who I think of the teams who are basically in the playoffs now. The Jazz are right now looking like the worst team in the playoff run. Let's see how they play against the Jazz. The Jazz are very defensive oriented, but also the Jazz are missing Bogdanovich. So they're basically their second go-to scorer. They're missing, but hey, that did not deter the Utah Jazz from beating the New Orleans Pelicans on Thursday night. They had a closer game, against the Thunder. Not really, but it was a little interesting on Saturday. Let's see how the Lakers played during that time, and then let's see if there's really. I still feel like there's cause for concern, but it's more so in the fact that all the blind witnesses think that the Lakers could beat the Clippers. No, there's no chance the Lakers could beat the Clippers unless coronavirus hits the Clippers organization. The Lakers do not have a chance. Clippers beating them in 6 is very generous. If they see a Clippers team that the Pelicans saw, no chance, bro. No chance for the Lakers. No chance for the Lakers. Now I'm going to talk about, let's talk about not the Clippers, but the other team that's in trouble. Well, I don't want to say they're in trouble. I don't know if you guys watch Inside the NBA with Shaq, Kenny, Shaq, Kenny, EJ, and Charles. But they have a segment called Gone Fishing. That's for people who do not make the bubble. I said the bubble, but do not make the playoffs. And the next team that's going to be on that list are, well, after the Phoenix Suns, of course. But the next team that's going to be on that list will be the New Orleans Pelicans. Because I think it's done. Their season at this present moment, is on life support. The beginning of the end was them going for the win on Thursday night instead of going for the tie and playing through the overtime. And it was the worst possible way they could miss, by the way. Brandon Ingram, good shot. And I also want to say this. Brandon Ingram. People talk about there's only one star in New Orleans, which is Zion Williamson. Everybody could see that. But Brandon Ingram, he's coming. He's the next big thing, man. I don't want to say he's the next best player, but there's 2 superstars on New Orleans. Brandon Ingram, he's arrived. He just needs to get better. I think he got a little bit stronger during the quarantine. When I say he needs to get better, he just needs to be a little bit more efficient. Magic Johnson, when drafting him, said that he's probably going to be the next Kevin Durant. His moveset, it is. That's Kevin Durant-esque. Efficiency, it's not like the Slim Reaper. However, Brandon Ingram is the truth. Watch out for Brandon Ingram, guys. If you guys haven't put respect on his name, put some respect on his name now. With that being said, his shot goes in and out. The Pelicans lose 106-104, a barn burner. A game that could have went either way. They did blow a 20, I believe it was about 22-point lead, especially during the third quarter. How did they lose that lead? Like a ball movement. Simple as that. Seeing Drew Holiday do an ISO play. Seeing Etuan Moore do an ISO play. Seeing players like Jackson Hayes not knowing what to do. Seeing things like forcing like screens, not having other options. Like really stagnant offense is what I saw. And the Jazz capitalize on that. Tipping away loose balls, one and done possessions for the New Orleans Pelicans. They get down. The Jazz get down to the court, and then also when it was time, when it was money time, Spider came. That Spider came. That Spider came in Donovan Mitchell. Another reason why they lost, which let's talk about some hindsight now. Hindsight says, hey, man, Zion should have played more minutes. And I mean, in the moment, too, where you could say that Zion should have played more minutes, I believe Zion should have played way more than 50 minutes. But if we understood how bad of a beating they were going to get on Saturday, I think Zion Williamson plays extra minutes on Thursday. And efficient. I think in 15 minutes he had 13 points. Beautiful. But then 14 minutes he had 7 points on Saturday. That's, an outlier for him. But Zion needs to play. I understand the first game, you put the minutes restriction on him, but and then even last game you put implement the minutes restriction, even though I guess the Clippers forced your hand. Starting tonight, which is your biggest. This game determines if you guys gonna make the playoffs or not. Starting tonight, Zion needs to play at least 25, 30 minutes. And to be honest, that's not a lot. That is not a lot. 25, 30 minutes is average. Is average. Just let him play. Let the dog loose, man. Let that man loose. Maybe you guys see something. So the Pelicans lost on a in and out shot on Thursday night to the Utah Jazz. They blew a 22-point lead, yada yada. But what was concerning, the reason why also other factors, the Trailblazers winning, the San Antonio Spurs are now in 9th place, beating the Memphis Grizzlies earlier today. Well, I guess yesterday. But I still thought it could still be a race for Zion and the Pelicans. However, Saturday told me another story. Saturday was cause for pause. They gave up at halftime. They came out the tunnel the second half, not really trying to play, just putting up stats for themselves. I understand you had a barrage happen to you, especially I believe in the first quarter, 9 threes went up for the Clippers. I understand all that, but you got to fight. You need to fight. One of my favorite teams, and I'm going to get to this segment a little later, one of my favorite teams to watch at this moment, I guess I have two favorite teams in this bubble. One of them is the Houston Rockets. The one thing about the Houston Rockets I love, they're fighting. They know they're undermanned, they're undersized, but they fight, they scrap at every possession. Every possession they scrap for the ball. Pelicans, you guys could do the same thing. You guys are younger than the Houston Rockets, to be honest with y'all. You guys can do that, but you guys did not do that. So this game on Monday, first of all, it's must-watch TV. Zion versus John Morant. First of all, I'm not getting paid from ESPN, not yet. But I have to promote the game. Zion against John Morant or J.A. Morant, however you guys want to say it. His name is Ja, actually, but whatever. That's big. And to put on the fact that you have a team like Portland, which is to me the best team fighting for the 8th seed in the West. They beat you already, the Grizzlies. They had a amazing game. If it wasn't for a Nurkic brain fart, they probably beat the Boston Celtics yesterday. You guys lost to them, so now the pressure's on the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies also lost to San Antonio yesterday. San Antonio now has the 9th place seed due to they have less losses than the Portland Trailblazers. It's a must-win for the Grizzlies. It's a must-win for the New Orleans Pelicans. Which team will come out more hungry? And I think that answer, it will be not the New Orleans Pelicans, the Memphis Grizzlies. I seen the Grizzlies do a college play, freaking do a full court press the other day against the Trailblazers. You don't see no full court. The last time you saw a full court press was last year's March Madness, actually. But it's a big game for both teams. Right now, I think the Grizzlies are just more mentally prepared. I feel like the Pelicans are a little distraught. There's a lot of turmoil going on. Like Zion's not playing. I still feel like there's some residue from the shot. And then, the Clippers came for y'all. The Clippers did come for y'all. Now, I want to talk about my two favorite teams. In this, my two favorite NBA teams at this moment are the Houston Rockets, number 1, and the Portland Trailblazers, number 2. I have been, ever since they traded away Clint Capella, I have been on the Houston bandwagon. Maybe because I one of my favorite players in basketball is Russell Westbrook. And Russell Westbrook, ever since the trade for Clint Capella, he is a different animal, same beast, or same beast, different animal. I forget how Kobe said it. R.I.P. my mans. But the Rockets fight every possession. They compete. They have taken fully the underdog mentality. as we know that we're not meant to be in this game, but hey, let's fight, let's scrap to be in this game. Twice against Dallas, against Milwaukee yesterday. Down big. Not really against Milwaukee. I think the most they were down by was maybe like 15 points. But however, 3 minutes left in the game, fourth quarter in the game, down by 8. Usually that game is over. Usually people start packing it in and say, okay, we're going to play next game. The Rockets ain't do that. The Rockets fought. James Harden fought. Daniel House fought. PJ Tucker fought. Russell Westbrook fought. All those guys fought. Same thing with Dallas. Down by 20. Kept fighting. Won the game. Beautiful execution towards the end. Down by, I think it was like 4 points or 3 points, something like that. James Harden got fouled, made the first shot, missed the second free throw on purpose. Robert Covington gets it, tips it in. Beautiful play. Those guys will be scrapping. Those guys will not be an easy out for nobody. There is one way to beat them. But due to how the NBA itself has shifted, every team is going to have a problem with them. To be honest, the only team, and this team is not even going to try and do it either, who could beat and, like, let's say sweep the Houston Rockets would be a team like the Philadelphia 76ers. They have a big man who could play down low in Joel Embiid. But due to the fact that the NBA now is so spacing and finesse and three-point shots, nobody's really going to abuse the Rockets and exploit their weakness. Bringing the ball down low into the post. We saw it yesterday. We saw it yesterday for about 4 or 5 possessions. Brook Lopez was going down, posting up guys, and guys couldn't do nothing. You bring the double team, you have someone open for a 3. But then they just went away from it. Why? Why go away from it? Keep pounding, keep breaking. Those guys are small. Go inside, get it from the inside, and then after that, you're good. But the Rockets, the way the Rockets are basically putting the pressure on opponents, are they're swiping, they're double teaming, they switch at every position. They just are so active defensively, and the best thing about the Rockets, they play defense as a team. They're communicating, barking, all that stuff, saying, "Hey, I'm here, I got this." Hey, strong, weak, all those words you use in basketball and defense. The Rockets are doing that. And the offense, you got someone who's unguardable. I think there's like 3 people in the NBA, 4 people maybe in the NBA that's unguardable. Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, James Harden. I really don't know who the 4th one would be. You could say LeBron James, but I guess back in the day. But those 3 guys are unguardable. James Harden is a walking bucket. He's a automatic bucket. And I still don't understand how some of his shots be falling. But the Rockets, and then they have the grit from Russell Westbrook. So they have the finesse and all that stuff from James Harden. And James Harden, I've seen some grit. James Harden has had some grit from, like, I don't know if it's him. I guess Russell Westbrook brushing off him, but James Harden, those 2 games I've seen against the Mavericks and the Bucks, is a different James Harden I've seen. Let's see. I'm gonna, not get too excited, because we know this about James Harden. When the playoffs come, he tends to shy away. Russell Westbrook, I kind of give Russell Westbrook a little pass. I still can't forgive him for what Dame Dollar did to him last year, but I kind of give him a pass for years prior, because he basically propelled his team to make it to the playoffs. So by the time the playoffs came, he was exhausted. But hey, let's see what happens. But the Rockets are for real. Do not overlook the Houston Rockets. Don't say, oh, because they're small, they could lose the series. The Rockets, if things play out right, the Rockets could make the Western Conference Final and maybe squeeze into the NBA Finals. And I want to say this. They beat them today. The Rockets beat the Memphis Grizzlies. Not Memphis Grizzlies. The Rockets beat on the Milwaukee Bucks last night. If put in a 7-game series, the Rockets beat the Bucks in 7 games. Why? The reason why the Rockets beat the Bucks in 7 games, and it was evident tonight. The Bucks offensive philosophy plays into the Rockets. To beat the Rockets, you got to beat them down low. You got to abuse them down low. But the Bucks want to just spread out, and then and then people want to say, but Gerald, Mike Budenholzer could just adjust the offense. We seen this in Atlanta. The last couple possessions last night, he had a chance to just let Brook do his thing, or say, hey, Giannis, just get in the post. Maybe it's because Giannis doesn't have that many post moves, but Brook Lopez has a plethora of post moves. Have him go in the post and abuse everybody. He tried to abuse James. He tried to abuse PJ. He tried to abuse everybody. But nah, they just said, hey, just get back in that corner. They will lose to the Bucks. I mean, the Bucks would lose to the Houston Rockets in a 7-game series. Dallas Mavericks. Kristaps, he's not. I'm not gonna say that he's soft, but he doesn't want to bang in the post. His game is all finesse. I'm not even gonna say it's a European thing, because I think teams that could beat them are teams like Denver, teams like Portland Trailblazers could beat them, because Yusuf Nurkic. I don't know if you guys are seeing him. I'm about to talk about them in a second. That he's balling right now. He's 2 games out back from a 16-month layoff due to injury. He's balling right now. But the Rockets are here to stay. The Rockets, if the 3-ball is going, even if the 3-ball is not going, their defense helps them out. They would win games. The 2 games I've seen them play, it's only been 2 games, but the 2 games I've seen them play, it's been their defense that's been propelling them to victory. Not offense, not just out shooting everybody. It's their defense, them communicating, them playing team-oriented defense. The Rockets are my favorite team in this bubble. My second favorite team, it was mainly because of Carmelo Anthony. But what I've been watching from the Portland Trailblazers, those guys are here. I think those guys are the best. They're the best team fighting for the playoffs within the about 6 teams in the West. They're the best team in my eyes. I think they offensively they have the best team. They have outside shooting, inside post game. Yusuf Nurkic, that guy wanted to show. He wanted to show out. He's been waiting to come back and play basketball. Thank God for this pandemic. He was able to come back to help his team, and he's doing his thing, man. I think he had 28 points today against Boston. Nobody could guard him in Boston. First game back had 18 points, but it was looking like nobody could guard him on Memphis. That man, I'm surprised. I did not think he was that good, but that guy down low he's unstoppable right now. And then the thing is, what works in his favor, and I was talking about this with the Rockets, the down low presence in today's NBA is not the same. So barbecue chicken is real life barbecue chicken. Shaq would have a field day in today's NBA. Second, the Trailblazers have 3 guys who are never gonna say quit, and 3 guys who are capable of taking the big shot. That's Dame, CJ, Melo. Dame yesterday against Boston, 3rd quarter, 4th quarter, he was shooting things from outside the bubble. He was shooting things from outside the bubble. That man, when he's on, and it's like literally. I think him and Steph Curry, maybe Kyrie, but when they're on, I feel sorry for defenders. That the person who was assigned to him, I feel sorry for that person, because that's a long day. That's a long however many stretch is, if it's probably gonna feel like a 5-day nightmare. But when those guys are on, Dame Dollar especially, there's nothing you could do. There's really nothing you could do. And he was showing that today. He had 8 points going into halftime. Finished the game off with 30. 11 in third. Throwing bombs, fourth quarter. Bombs. CJ. We seen CJ do. CJ was doing it in Memphis. CJ was doing it on Friday against Memphis. He was throwing things from Alcatraz. He was his big thing is to stop and pop, and then he has that high release. That CJ is nasty, man. I think CJ is the most underrated player in the NBA today. That man is nasty. And then you have Melo. They needed a bucket today. Yesterday they needed a bucket to be within 3. Dish out Dame dishes out to Melo. Melo 3 to the dome. They should have gave it to him again. That's what I was telling my brothers, that they should have gave it to him again towards the end of the game. But it didn't happen. But Melo, he's capable of taking those shots. And then you have Nurkic. Zach Collins, he's back, but he has great moments and bad moments, but he's coming back together. He's coming along. That team right now, don't let them go to the playoffs, man. I'm telling y'all, don't let them go to the playoffs. The Lakers, that game might go 6 or 7. Because first of all, I want to say this: Danny Green is gonna guard Dame, right? Back in the day, you just put two defenders on CJ and Dame. You got Melo now. LeBron is gonna have to guard Melo. AD is gonna have to guard Nurkic. Danny, you're gonna have to put in KCP to guard CJ. KCP is not he's not that reliable offensively. What happens when you have to play in? You need offensive buckets. The only best offensive player the best offensive player you have with Lakers is Kyle Kuzma. How is that gonna work? I think the reason why I'm saying the Lakers is because I believe the Lakers are gonna end up with the number 1 seed. They'll still have the number 1 seed. So I'm not 100% there yet to say that the Trailblazers will beat the Lakers. But I think 6 or 7. Those guys are out for blood right now. Those guys are playing hard, tough. They were down by 24. Lost the game by 4 points. They came back. They took the lead. If it wasn't for Jaylen Brown going ballistic, they win that game. And also, experience plays a role. After San Antonio and Portland are the 2 most experienced teams fighting for the 8th seed. Phoenix is not there yet. They're inexperienced. Memphis, their leader is a rookie. They had their second-year pro. They have Jaren Jackson Jr. Everybody, I think, is about 5 years or younger. What team am I missing? The Kings. The Kings are young as well. The only two, and it's ironic that they have the backup and the second backup spot, 9th and 10th seed, waiting for Memphis to drop. They both beat Memphis. We're gonna see how that plays out. But like I said, guys, I am excited for what is going on. The NBA bubble. I miss the NBA. I miss playing basketball. I miss watching basketball. Basketball is back. Basketball is back. And I want to say this. This is probably about to be my last topic. I think I have time to talk about one more another topic that I'm just gonna do it off the cuff. I had no notes for it, but I'm just gonna do it off the cuffs because I'd rather just do it now. But I've learned 3 major things from watching basketball this week. So the third thing, top 3. The top 3 things I learned from watching basketball this week. Number 3. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are the third best duo in the NBA right now. 2 years from now, I believe they will be number 1. I think it's Steph and Clay. When healthy, Steph and Clay are overall by far. They're on another stratosphere. when it comes to how great they are. Number 2, I still have CJ and Dame. I just talked about them. Those guys can go ballistic. Those guys be at an arms race. They be like, oh, you got 40, Dame? Let me try and get 50. I really think that's how they go. I think that's how Steph and Clay goes too, especially when it comes to that 3-point barrage. When Steph and Clay were playing and like the Warriors were going off, I always watch the game. I'm like, when's the avalanche gonna come? Because like we talk about this runs and stuff, but when it comes to the Warriors, it's not a run, it's an avalanche. Because you go from either up by 2 or 3 to down by like 40 in like 2 minutes. So, but what I saw today, and what I've been watching the Celtics throughout the season. Jason Tatum, he's at his own right now. But Jaylen Brown, and people still think Jaylen Brown is the 3rd best player on the Celtics. I think Jaylen Brown if he's not better than Kemba Walker, I think he's right there with Kemba Walker. That man is different. Inside game, outside game, he is starting to get consistent at the 3-point shot. His first 2 years, that was like, I think to me that was my biggest concern. He's inconsistent offensively, but now he's good. Like, this man went ballistic against the Trailblazers. If it wasn't for him, I think the Trailblazers win the game. So I have them 3. Yes, I have them over LeBron and AD. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I don't have to explain myself. Whatever. You know, I earlier in the show, you guys saw me talk about the First Amendment. That's my freedom of speech. The second thing I learned. Rebounding is about to become an overrated stat. The Warriors showed you it's an overrated stat before, but we was like, they found ways to get rebounds. The Rockets are trying to show you guys it's an overrated stat. The Rockets, the past 2 games, were out-rebounded from both teams, yet won the game. It's all about grit and determination at the end of the day. All about grit and determination at the end of the day. How bad do you want it? The Rockets are showing me they want it bad. My only thing, I didn't mention this, but my only problem or I guess concern for the Rockets is, are they gonna burn out? Because first of all, the Rockets, they only play about 8 players. How good is their condition? I know right now they have fresh legs after being off for about 5 months, 4 or 5 months. But when August 17th comes, when the playoff comes, they have a 6-game grueling series in advance. They have to play maybe 2 days later. And then game 3 comes, they're down 2-0. You know, game 3s are usually the swing, the swing game. They lose that, man, because they're tired. That's the only way. That's the only problem I see the Rockets coming into. But I don't know. Maybe D'Antoni has them running all the time. I don't know. But rebounds could become an overrated stat. Everything down low is becoming, I don't want to say obsolete, but it's becoming less and less of an importance. Everything is now outside. You gotta be able to shoot threes. You gotta be able to hit a running transition, mid-range shot, all those things. I don't think the inside game is as much of an importance as it used to be. I still love the inside game. I still believe the inside game could win games for you. But the Rockets are showing that it's not. And teams are allowing the Rockets to do that, which is asinine to me. If you have a big man like Porzingis or Brook Lopez, you just feed them the ball, make them get 40 points. 40 and 21. I don't know. And then the number one thing I learned from the NBA this weekend, a 10-point game is about a 2-possession game now. Back in the day when I was growing up, if you were down by 10, it's a blowout. The game's over. You guys are not coming back. But now, if you're down by 10 in the NBA, it's literally a 2-possession game. You just need about 2 threes because everybody on the other, every opponent you're playing is gonna shoot a 3 for maybe out of 10 up and down possessions, 7 of those possessions are 3-point possessions. So it's easy to cut down game the Portland game. Down by 24 before the third quarter. Down by 24 with about 7 minutes left in the third quarter. Third quarter ends, they're down by about, I want to say 2. I don't have that. I don't have that written down, but I want to say 2. They were down by 2. They went into the fourth quarter down by 3 points. They were just down by 24 at 7 minutes. Back in the day, 2008, even 2010, you're down by 24. Games over. You're starting to rest. You're starting to bench your starter. But that's the NBA now. And then here's a caveat: the bubble has raised the intensity of the game. Out of all the games played this past weekend, there were only 5 blowouts. Miami versus Denver, the Pelicans against the Clippers, the Jazz against the Thunder, the Nets. That's about it. That's all I can think about. Then the game intensity has been raised. Maybe it's because those guys are happy that they're back. But I love the bubble. I don't care if fans or no fans. It hasn't messed up my I guess like love for the game, because those guys are playing their heart out. Those guys are playing like it's like a wrecked game. And I love it. I love it. Now this is my last topic. I want to end off with this. Recently, I think it was on Thursday, Friday, the Knicks finally hired their coach. First of all, I wanna say thank you to everybody who watched and shared and liked my how to fix the Knicks video on YouTube. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. You don't understand how much I appreciate like you guys like taking your time out to watch the video. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys for that. I had Mark Jackson being the coach of the Knicks. He didn't get an interview at all. Tom Thibodeau is now the coach for the New York Knicks. I had no problem. I love Thibs. But in today's NBA, I'm going to be honest, players are soft. How will Tom Thibodeau's aggressive, hard-nosed, 90s basketball mentality work in today's NBA? He doesn't like playing rookies, man. And like nowadays, like you have a third year. He's your oldest player. He's the oldest player on your team. I hope Thibs has say with the front office on what players he wants to bring in and whatnot, because I feel like that's how it's gonna work in New York for him. With Thibs, I know we're making the playoffs next year. I know we're gonna make the playoffs next year. Hey, man. I hope Thibs does a good job. I'm praying for you, Thibs. I like you a lot, man. I want to say you're the man for the job, but I think the person for this job is Mark Jackson. Just because he's from New York, and it's just like, we need someone that's from here to bring us back. I feel like that's like the only way we're going to come back. We'll be competitive with Thibs. Don't get me wrong. I love my boy Thibs, but to get to that like extra dimension, we need Mark. Hey, man. I'm just trying to start a conversation. What do you guys think about that? How do you guys think about the Rockets? Do you guys like what the Portland Trailblazers have been putting up? The Lakers? Oh, yeah, so just comment down below. If you guys are watching or listening to it on SoundCloud, you comment down too. Like it. YouTube, my YouTube guys. Like, share, and subscribe. I thank you guys for watching this. I love you guys. Keep supporting. We'll be back with other content coming up soon. This is Gerald Cadet. This is the Corner Store. I'm out.